See, Seth should be happy because now that we're here, we can't just mess around like we normally do and waste his tape for.
Oh, but we can.
Watch us.
We can't mess around.
I was like, I don't doubt your capabilities at all.
No, never doubt us. Never doubt us.
I never do.
How does it sound, Seth? Welcome to Access Sports Weekly here on AccessWDUN.com. As you can tell, we are at Free Chapel today for the 2020 FCA Media Day as we welcome in Caleb Hutchins, our guy who's actually got a great setup over there. Caleb, Seth Chapman. I'm Bo. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
I'm great.
I'm happy about the mobile setup.
Yeah. Seth has brought 3 different cameras here today. I had to bring him another cable because he's got about 10,000 of them back there, running all over the place to make this stuff happen.
Your cable makes 2.
Okay. See, he's smarter than me, so he knows that. I don't.
Okay, 3 technically.
So he's got 3 cables going.
Okay.
All right.
It looks like 10,000.
So even though that we are here at the Basketball Media Day today, we're still in high school football, the final week of the regular season, Caleb. And Week 11 really revealed a lot of fantastic action.
It did. Week 11 was great, I thought. The Cherokee Bluff North Hall game, I thought, was one of the better games we had all year. Even though Cherokee Bluff ended up winning by, I think, 17 points was the margin, that was anybody's ball game up until about 5 minutes to go in the game, or whenever it was that Cherokee Bluff hit the long pass to Little that kind of put it out of reach. But I really was impressed with both teams. I was impressed with Cherokee Bluff because of how they weathered the storm from North Hall. And I thought really we're able to hit some big plays in some 3rd and long, some key passing situations that we really hadn't seen Cherokee Bluff have to be put in pressure situations before. Even going to the Dawson County game, they were just able to run the ball on Dawson County. This kind of put them a little out of their comfort zone against North Hall because North Hall did the best job I've seen anybody do all year on Cherokee Bluff's running game. I mean, neither Jaquan Smith or Charles Tolbert got to 100 yards, but Sebastian Irons in that passing game, man, some of the plays they hit, some of the 3rd downs they converted, huge, and that's the kind of stuff you're going to need in the playoffs. So I was really impressed with them and also impressed with North Hall because of what I just said. They were able to really take away Cherokee Bluff's running game. The Bears really weren't able to run it until that last drive when the game was basically already decided. So really impressed with that. And North Hall's offense gave Cherokee Bluff's defense more fits than they had all year long. I know they didn't score as many points as Dawson County did, but I thought what they did through the first 2.5 quarters was much better offensively than what Dawson County had done because remember, when Dawson scored against Cherokee Bluff, they had a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown in there.
Yeah, so you talk about the run game, and both teams went into that game as run teams. And both of them came out as, well, both leading rushers were less than 100 yards. So I think that was key. And Sebastian Irons, first year at Bluff, I think he really showed that he can throw the ball, not only just manage the game, but he can actually throw the ball and make big plays.
Well, and he's got weapons. And we all know about Shad Dabney, and he had a big touchdown to start the game. But, Eli Little made big plays. I thought Jalen Justice, while he didn't have any of the highlight plays of the night, he had a lot of key catches in key situations. Had a great toe tap catch on the sideline at one point to convert a 3rd down. So they've got weapons. They've got weapons, and we knew that, but you don't know if it's actually going to translate and be able to make it happen in the big situations. That's what they did Friday night.
I'm going to have to ask both of you guys to try and stop tap it on the table.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like that. We don't want to do that anymore. Okay.
Yeah, we'd like to not do that because it shakes the camera.
You don't want to shake the camera. Okay, so looking back on the season, White County, injury-ridden. J. Ben Haynes obviously was out. 2 big games they lost. The game this week against Bluff is not as huge as it probably should have been, but it's still a big game because Bluff going up against White County, who I think is probably, if they would have been healthy, probably the best team in Region 7-3A.
Could have been, and the thing is, even if they don't jump off sides on a field goal attempt by North Hall that they missed, maybe White County's playing for the region title this week. I mean, that's how close it was. I know it ended up coming down to Cherokee Bluff and North Hall and Dawson County, but White County was right there. White County was literally 2 plays away from being unbeaten right now and playing Cherokee Bluff, and this would have been your region title game at Cherokee Bluff this week. I think it's going to be a great showdown. I think Cherokee Bluff and White County is a great matchup. It's probably the best quarterback play that Cherokee Bluff will have been put up against, even though I know Zach Holtzclaw is doing great things at Dawson County. When you look at what Jabin Haynes does both in the pass game and the run game, and just the amount of comebacks he's been able to pull off in his time there, it's probably going to be the best quarterback play that Cherokee Bluff has faced off against. So I think it's going to be a great showdown, but it's one that doesn't really have any impact because both teams are already locked into their seeds. We know Cherokee Bluff is going to be the 1 seed. We know White County is going to be the 4. So the only thing that's really at stake is pride, confidence, and things like that, which are important.
And a tune-up.
And a tune-up because both teams got big playoff games coming up. But it is a little disappointing that this game doesn't mean more than what it does.
White County is not a 4 seed that you want to play in the first round. No doubt about that. Now, moving on, a lot of big games this week when we take a look at Gainesville rallied against Denmark. They probably could have won that game. They tied it up at 21, lost by a field goal, got down early in that game. This week's game against North Forsyth, even bigger now because it has a number 3 at best seed on it. But if they lose because of the South Forsyth game being canceled, South and Central being canceled, Central forfeits that game, I believe, in the region. If North Forsyth beats Gainesville, you have to beat them by 13, they're in. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes.
Well, I guess the good news for Gainesville is the only ways they've lost this year are by like 3 or 4 points. So, it would be weird for them to lose by 13. All 4 I think their 4 losses have come by like a combined 17 points.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yep.
So, Gainesville hasn't lost a game by a wide margin, but that certainly doesn't mean that it can't happen. They've struggled a little bit against North Forsyth. And North Forsyth, when we talked earlier in the year about Gainesville growing the program and not having those letdown games, what was the game we always referenced? The North Forsyth game from last year. That was a non-region game back then, but that was a game that Gainesville felt like they were the better team, and North Forsyth beat them. And North Forsyth kind of took care of them in that game. So it's going to be really interesting because North Forsyth is reeling. But North Forsyth also knows that if they can win this week, they can get into the postseason. So they're going to be coming in with their hair on fire. Gainesville's coming in now with some pressure added to it because they've got to make sure that the game goes a certain way in order to get into the playoffs. Huge game at City Park.
And the fact that Gainesville has never beaten North Forsyth.
Right.
So
0-8 or 0-5 or something like that.
0 something.
Yeah. It's a weird because they haven't played a ton.
They've not played a ton, but yeah, they've never beaten North Forsyth. They roll into City Park, a huge game. It'll be a dramatical finish, I'm sure, again.
Gainesville would take a dramatic finish because that would mean that they wouldn't be eliminated from the playoffs one way or the other.
So hats off to Lakeview Academy making their first ever playoff appearance, our birth in program history, beating who was it they played? St. Francis, big time last week.
59 points.
59 points, 400 yards rushing.
Yeah, and 59 points huge because when we talk about, Lee Shaw is his first year at Lakeview. When we talk about Lee Shaw coach teams, you often think about big offensive numbers, but this is a Lakeview team that's really relied on their defense. The offense woke up, and they did it with the ground game. They ran all over St. Francis. So, Lakeview Academy, they could have backed into the playoffs. They did not back into the playoffs. They're coming in guns a-blazing because they're playing their best football of the year right now.
Well, Commerce playing Lincoln County for the Region 8A title if they win it their first in 17 years.
Going to be big. Commerce and Lincoln County played last year in a playoff game that was really a great playoff game down in Lincolnton. Now Commerce gets them in Commerce, so that should be a good fit. I'm going to talk to Coach Brown about that coming up tomorrow. Hopefully we'll hear a little bit from him during the tailgate show, but I think that's going to be a really good physical football game.
Okay, one of the big games on our radio airwaves this week is Buford and Decula. Decula and Buford, or Decula will travel to Tom Ryden Stadium for the Region 8 6A championship, a massive game for those guys as they try to win their first Region 8 6A championship because Buford moved up into that region. So we'll have that game for you on AM 550. Over on FM 102.9, a battle for the 2 seed once again. North Hall Dawson will battle each other at the Brickyard. Of the course, we'll have that Gainesville North Forsyth game on 94.5 The Lake. Now, let's take a look real quickly at this week's WilHart Team of the Week. Who is your pick?
I'm torn between Cherokee Bluff and Lakeview Academy. I know we picked them last week, but I got to go Cherokee Bluff again.
Cherokee Bluff. I'm going to go with Lakeview Academy for earning their first ever playoff berth in program history. So that leaves it up to the man behind the camera and in front of his own little camera.
I love
Seth
how
Chapman.
you looked around the camera like the camera's not this big. It's blocking my entire face. I'm going to have to go Lakeview. I'm going to have to go Lakeview. First ever playoff berth. It's huge for this school. Just absolutely insane for them. Super happy for those kids, and they seem incredibly pumped up about it.
Second time I've been voted down.
Yeah, you've been voted down.
Been voted down.
Lakeview Academy are this week's WilHart Team of the Week. Of course, it is unsponsored, so we're just going to give you a mention here on the show. I think I messed up.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. And I think I messed up the order once again this week because I skipped over probably the favorite portion of the show, Seth's Picks.
You're falling apart.
I am.
What's happening?
It's just media day.
Caleb, can you stop attacking the host of our show? Oh my gosh. Caleb just attacking Bo.
Bo, get it together.
It's your go, Seth. Just take it.
It's my go. Okay, we had some great highlights this week. We actually had another week of
Don't sound excited.
three videos.
Yeah.
We actually had 3 videos instead of 2 that we've had before, so got a lot of great stuff. And this year has been a great year for just some really cool highlights. So let's check out the ones from this week.
Shout out to also Caleb Martin and Lauren Hunter on our video staff, getting some fantastic video highlights throughout the season. We'll have more of those coming up this week from Friday night. 3 big games. We'll have all highlight coverage from those, as well as radio coverage, and also on Friday game night page we'll have coverage from around the area of all the big games as we finish up the regular season and get ready for the state playoffs across the state. So guys, as scrolling across the screen somewhere in this area right now, you can see how to contact us and other information. It's going into your side, or is it my side? I'm not sure how it's going to roll, but we're going to get out of here because it's crazy. FCA Media waiting to get restarted here because they need Caleb on the stage. So for Caleb Hutchins, Seth Chapman, I'm Bo. Enjoy week number 12 of high school football.